Let's welcome the Brains Trust of Nomura India. They have joined us in the studio this morning. Prabhat Awasthi, Head of Equities and Managing Director, India. Sonal Verma, the India Economist, and Neeraj Gambhir, Managing Director and Co-Head, Fixed Income, India. Well, gentlemen and lady, thank you very much for joining us. Let me start with the lady because it's macro data that we have that we are getting, and that's what the market is watching. What will the governor do? What's your sense, Sonal, with the inflation data coming in and increasing pressure, as you can see, even from not just India Inc., but even from the government? You think the governor might just relent since he has a penchant for surprising the market as well?
Well, not at the December 2nd policy meeting. I think the RBI's credibility itself is at stake. And 6% really was the intermediary target. The ultimate target is probably around 4%. It could be, a bit higher, we don't know. So the entire framework of monetary policy is going to undergo a change as we get into 2015. You're getting into more a rule-based monetary policy framework with a medium-term target of inflation staying in a band. And we need to remember that, part of the moderation in inflation we are seeing is because of government measures, but part of it is also because growth has slowed down.
Growth has slowed down, but growth is picking up. Those were the two axioms you gave us. Prabhat, on that, what did you make of the second quarter earnings? Were there more misses than hits for you? And when exactly do the earnings start clearly tilting in favor of hits?
So I think this quarter, when we were looking at the data, it's almost equal. There's actually slightly more misses, but it's even. It's actually not very far from each other. So it's 50-50. But the overall numbers themselves don't tell you a story of pickup at this point in time. Growth, for example, for our universe in sales close to 5%, which is the lowest in last 4 quarters. To be expected, I think, primarily because the rupee impacts have sort of worn off. In fact, rupee impacts are negative, commodity prices are weaker, and there's a large impact of commodity prices on top lines. So I think on a sequential basis, we are still, at least if you look at the earnings, they are not telling you yet of a story of pickup. But as I said, these are historical numbers. You could actually start seeing some acceleration in earnings, I would think, in the 6 months or so. Before that, there are patches where pickup has happened. For example, autos, we have seen better data, but the core sectors still are generally weak. And I think once the government's actual sort of efforts start paying off, which might take another 5-6 months, you probably will see a better picture.
Prabhat, you've come out with an August 2015 Sensex target of 30,300. What do you think are the leaders of the next leg of this rally?
Also, actually, what has not done well? It has to be that, I guess, because we have seen a fantastic performance by the defenses in India. Consumer and pharmaceuticals have been the standout performers over a period of 3-4 years. Obviously, 1 year, I think, consumers lagged a bit. I think the most important and the biggest sector in India is financials. And as macro improves, as someone was saying, as growth improves, that sector has to be the leader. Valuations there are still comfortable, so they are still trading at discounts to their average. If you look at 5-year average, 3-year average, they're still trading at discounts. To some extent, because there were concerns on the sector, led by, for example, bad asset concerns or NP concerns. These are getting resolved, and if policy improves, you'll see more movement towards that. So if you get both growth policy and sort of inflation cycle right for them, then they have a lot of room to move up. So I think financials probably is the best spot over the next 2-3 years.
When you say financials, are you more tilted towards PSU banks? I mean, I'll come to Neeraj in a bit on where he sees bond yields. But are you, at the moment the market is tilted in favor of PSU banks, is there a near-term advantage? Will the earnings delta be better there?
It's possible because the asset quality concerns have been larger on PSU banks, and that's why they actually were underperforming the private banks for a very, very long time. And in this cycle, I think growth per se, I think, is a problem for almost the whole sector. Obviously, retail banks will probably do a bit better. but the valuations differentials are higher for PSU banks. So as these concerns lift, there's a possibility that, so you have a near-term outlook and a longer-term outlook. Longer term, if you sort of think about compounding of earnings and loan growth, then private banks will continue to do much better. But at this point in time, if you look at 6 to 8 months period, then it's possible that PSU banks might outperform.
Can you
So SBI is what we like. Yeah, we like SBI. It's very easy for us. So that bank has done well. They're already shown it in the results also. So we like SBI quite a lot in PSU bank.
Okay, Neeraj, to get you into this conversation, can gains in the bond markets come much ahead of the rate cuts? For instance, what's the view, say, in February when there will be no auctions? Do you think that you could get a sub 8% 10-year yield even before the Reserve Bank cuts?
See, as and when the market gets more comfortable and convinced about future rate cuts, the curve has to invert. The curve will probably invert. We are seeing that inversion, as I said, in the swap curve. And swap curve inversion is speaking about 100 basis point rate cut over the next 12 months. Bond market is not yet there, but it will probably get there as and when the data starts supporting that view. So yes, we can potentially see a sub 8% level, but I think we need to get past the December 2nd policy. We need to hear the governor's mind on that, and then I think the market will take on from there.
Prabhat, you were talking about the banks, but the other best proxy to play the macro recovery is the infrastructure, capital goods space. Where does L&T feature in this list? And do you stick with a large cap like L&T, or do you sort of broaden your view into some of the mid cap names, the good performing names like Voltas, etc.?
So, over a longer period we like, so it's a sector we are overweight on. The only issue is that these are lag cyclicals. So they always lag a recovery, or they, lag even a slowdown. Because the fact is that a slowdown essentially needs, leads people to reassess their capital requirements, how much they want to put in terms of capacity. And therefore, if an auto guy is putting a plant, he'll only figure out after a period of time the demand has slowed down and got more capacity, and that's why the lag is about a couple of years. So I think the challenge with the capital goods stock is that the valuations have gone up, but the numbers are yet not stacking up because the new order inflows are weak or weakish, let's say. So I think if you take a 2-3 year view, obviously these stocks can outperform quite a lot because their margins are depressed. Therefore, there can be margin recovery and a sales recovery both, and the valuations they're trading today could be justified. But over a 1 or 2 year, or let's say 6 months or 1 year period, I'm not so sure that they will outperform, let's say, banking stocks. Now, L&T obviously is the bellwether of the sector. They have weathered the cycles through and through. So they are like your private bank space in a banking sort of. So they are the guys who are able to sort of hold the fort when everybody else is suffering. The smaller stocks, again, there has been a massive differentiation which has opened up, as you can see in the performance of various companies. The pure construction companies have seen much more pain, and the companies like which are well managed, like Voltas, have sort of come out of it at this point in time. So we like Voltas, for example. So I think story becomes very, very stock specific when you go down, because within capital goods space there are many hues. There are power stocks, there are industrial stocks, there are stocks which are basically play on manufacturing capex recovery. So you really can't paint everything with one brush here. I would think that infrastructure recovery will take slightly more time, even though I think signs of that will start emerging as government starts taking more action. The manufacturing capex recovery probably will be faster because that is based on what manufacturing sector feels about the future performance. In infrastructure, you need to take care of the balance sheets of the players which are very, very distressed. You take care of a lot of rules, land acquisition bill, etc. All those things might take slightly more time.
Okay. The story definitely gets more interesting as you drill down, Prabhat, as you said. And another big macro story is going to be the currency and what you are getting from the trade data. We have questions on both that for all of you, but we have to take a break. We are back in a minute with the Brains Trust of Nomura India.